Hey Steve, thanks for doing this today.
Yep.
Um, what did you think about your guys' work as a unit in the run game yesterday?
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, I think it's a testament to just, how well we prepared, during practice. We always try to practice, to our game standard. And I feel like we did that this week. And I feel like the game, kind of showed that.
Like, I guess, like when you have someone like Kyron who's running the way he was running yesterday, it seemed like he was running like a little angry there in the fourth quarter. Like, how does that kind of get the unit as a whole moving?
Yeah, I mean, when you see guys fired up like that, man, it always, gets us pumped up. And just, I feel like we have the tools, to get the things that we need to do done. You always hear that it starts up front, deal. And I feel like, that's very much true. When we see people pop off, it's cool to look at the offensive line to see, the things that we did, that were good. But yeah, man, Kyron's runs yesterday were amazing.
Got a couple games in before the bye after dealing with the ankle, but I'm curious like how the bye kind of helped you start feeling like a little, if the bye helped you start feeling a little bit more
Yeah, I did. I
confident in
mean,
yourself.
I'm so thankful that we have the bye. I mean, kind of like mid-season. That's always the best. I know a couple of teams have it like week like 14 or 13. That's like awful. But always having it mid-season is amazing. I mean, I didn't play as many games as everybody else, but I feel like I got that extra, rest in, and I feel like everybody else was well rested too. So it's awesome that we were able to come out the bye week and perform the way we did.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Gary?
Hi, Steve. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Hey, how easy or difficult is it to slide back into the starting lineup and after being out as long as you were, is it like you pick up like riding a bike, just you pick up where you left off, or is there an adjustment period?
hmm Yeah, so I think it's awesome, to learn from past experiences. My whole career before last year, I have never, ever, ever gotten hurt. I've never missed a game. I've never missed practice. And it's awesome, to have that experience that I had went through where I had, ended up messing my knee up and I had missed, I think it was about 8 games. And I had to come back and go through that process of coming back to practice, getting the physicality of practice down. So it's cool to see that, you can't really control what happens in the game.
Hmm.
Obviously the first game, I think it was like play 11, I freaking get rolled up and I'm like, oh, here we go. But I end up, obviously coming back, but to know what I needed to do to prepare myself to come back are the things that I like took from when I had first got hurt from last year. So, I always thank God for those, opportunities. It was an easier process, coming back now. Obviously it was a different injury, but I'm glad I had a past experience to learn off of.
And I imagine playing next to Alric and Experience Center that makes it a little bit
Yeah.
easier as well.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. I always see a familiar face, man. They're two awesome guys. I mean, everybody on the offensive line is just a joy being around those guys, and they always know what they're supposed to do, and it's cool, and I'm blessed to have those guys next to me.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Wyatt?
Hey, Steve. Uh,
Uh,
Stafford has talked about, just how nice it's been to be kind of clean this season and how good of a job that you guys have done of keeping him that way.
mhm.
How much of that success do you attribute to like the cohesion of that group?
Yeah, I mean, we always say it in the offensive line room, like when we go, we get to allow Stafford to show his, potential. I think I had looked at the statistics, which probably shouldn't matter to us. But anyways, he's thrown for as many touchdowns as he did last year, and we're halfway through the season, which I feel like is a good, testament to, how well the whole offense is doing. So it's kind of the same thing like we were talking about with Kyron, like when we see he's popping off, it's because of some of the things we're doing up front. So it's always cool, seeing that, and we always tell ourselves, just give nine enough time to throw the ball, and it's gonna get there. So.
And you've had some fun celebrations the last two games.
Yeah.
And is that something that you plan to do before the game, or is that just kind of like your authentic joy coming through?
So funny enough, the one that we had when we played the Jaguars, I always tell people, I'm like, that was pure instinct. I didn't even think about doing that. But I always tell people, I'm like, dude, no one cares about offensive line. Like, so anytime that I have the chance to do something, I'm gonna do it. Like, I want to, be able to show a little personality on the field, because we don't really get that many opportunities, to do so. And that just falls in line with, having fun on the field. We're on a stage where people are watching us all over the world. So, I want to do something, have fun, while I'm out there playing.
Love that. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap with Stu.
Hey Steve, speaking of Matthew, just what's it like for you guys, as you're watching him play at the level he's played at, not only across the last two games, but just the level he's played really this entire season, and what does that do for the rest of the team?
Yeah. I think it's crazy. I mean, all I've ever known from NFL football, being in the league, is playing with him. And I feel like I'm kind of, what's the word? Um, not stubborn. Like I'm just grateful for having a quarterback like him. Like I couldn't imagine, you know, being around like a rookie quarterback who doesn't know as much as he does, because I know what that standard is now. And I know that there are people who somewhat can, find out the game quickly, but just having him back there like is just insane just to see how he operates. And obviously you've seen the throws, like he gets the ball where it needs to be. And we know we have a dude, back there. So it's always, if it's specifically for me, like I want to put my all into, keeping him safe, so we can win games, so he can have a good season. So it's awesome, knowing that he's back there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Awesome. See you guys.
All right, cool.
All
Gary,
right.
go ahead and get us started.
I should probably mute that, huh? All right.
Hey, Braden, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, you know it. Thought you guys might have forgot about me.
Well, I'm sure all of us wanted to catch up with you. You've had a season where you were kind of involved in wreaking a lot of havoc, but not necessarily getting the statistical reward. How was it to get that first sack yesterday?
Yeah, if you could tell by my reaction and the reaction of the rest of the guys on the D line, I think it was pretty damn good. I think it's tough going into week 9 and not having one, and finally breaking that seal. And yeah, no, we got home, felt good, guys were happy, and now it kind of feels like, all right, that weight's off the back. We can just get rolling now, and hopefully these start coming in bunches.
How would you kind of describe how you guys are playing as a defense collectively?
Um, I think that's the key word, is we are playing collectively. I think, just as a whole, we're playing 11 as one from the front end to the back end. I think, we get a lot of credit up front, but I don't think enough credit is given to the guys on the second and third level of our defense, of, how they just bring it every day, the way they communicate, the way, they come down and fit the run, the way they buy us more time in the pass game. I mean, it's been awesome. Landman yesterday doing what he does, coming up with a huge play, punching the ball out. I mean, that's just what our defense is about, just causing havoc. And we put that on display the last 3 weeks, I think, of just playing sound, tight football. Even if we've been put in some situations in the red zone where we had to buckle up, and we've come through, which has been awesome. Though we got a really good group so far.
Mhm. Well, what's been your experience? What have you taken away from your experience playing against the 49ers, the first season and a half of your career, and what has to happen for you guys to be effective on Sunday?
Yeah, I think every game I've played in against 49ers has come down to the wire so far. But I think, yeah, I mean, every game it's been tight, it's been physical. I think every time we play them, it's just a physical game, which that going into it, of just their approach. They want to establish the run game and get things going that way. And I think that's kind of what starts with this game coming up, is we got to establish it up front. And I think we got off to a slow start, the last time we played them this year. And we gotta be able to be more stout up front. It starts with us, and then just as a whole, we just gotta play our style of ball. And the way we go into a week preparation wise, I think we just got to continue to build on that. And I think we got a good chance. I roll with my guys all the time.
Well, thanks very much.
You know it.
Adam.
Braden, you mentioned that feeling of breaking through. Like it seems like for both you and Kobe this year, there's been a lot of pressures, but it seems like more of the splash plays have been coming around the edges. Like I'm curious what the message has been from the coaching staff to you guys about, staying persistent, but also like understanding, there are those sack assists and things like that where you guys are still being productive, even if it's not necessarily showing up in the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, as Sean would say, stats are for losers, which that's cool to an extent. It's nice to have a few numbers behind your name, but nah, we talked about it before the season. You just can't get frustrated. It's a long season. I mean, going into yesterday, I remember telling myself, I got 10 games. It's kind of the back end of the season, or like the second half of the season of, how what are you going to make yourself of at this point? And I just try to keep punting, try to treat every day as the same. Continue to attack and continue to be consistent in my preparation. And I'm not going to go into the second half of the season and all of a sudden change up my entire routine of okay, now I got to do this and that. I'm just going to continue to press forward and do what I do. I mean, I trust my process, and yesterday was just one step forward of where we're trying to go and where I'm trying to go, and I think just continue to be consistent. I think Kobe's in the same mindset of, just got to continue to attack. Those numbers will come. He's got to, just continue to be consistent. I think that's the key to the whole process.
Last year it seemed like the sacks were very evenly distributed along that front, inside,
Yeah.
outside. Like, is there something schematically you guys are doing, or in terms of the way that you're being blocked, that is leading to maybe more of the pressure, or not pressure, but the results coming from the edge?
Yeah, not as much. I think sometimes it's just the way it shakes out, I
Yeah.
mean, when you get your one-on-one opportunities, you got to win them. And, we've seen different things from teams this year. We're getting chipped a lot on the edge. They're trying to, go 3 for 2 on the inside. I mean, there's a lot of things that teams are doing to, try to prevent them in quick game. You see a lot of things, to try to get that ball off to prevent us from getting home. Because, we do have a good front. We were able to mix up a lot of things and, get home with 4. Sometimes, we get sent a blitz, get home with 5. I mean, we have ways of doing it, but I think sometimes just the way it shakes out with the way we play defense of guys are going to get home in different ways. I mean, BY, I mean he's getting after it, and I mean I'm all about it. I'm for it. And, I think same with Jared, Kobe. I mean we all as long as that guy's on the ground and we're getting off the field on third down, that's all that matters. And I think the last 3 weeks, I think we haven't given up more than 10, so I'm cool with that all day if that's what it's going to lead to.
Yeah. And I forgot my last one. You're good. Thanks,
That's all
Jared.
right.
Thanks, Braden.
Wyatt?
I like it.
Hey, Braden. Seems like you guys have had a lot of success with, like the stunts and playing off each other on the defensive line. Has there been any difference in the approach or the strategy to those this season, or is that success just kind of a product of you guys understanding each other better?
Yeah, I think that plays a lot of it of just understanding our rushes, our rush lanes, working off each other, which I even think we can improve on a lot. I think that's, sometimes you get so caught up in just your rush lane and I want to win my one-on-one that you kind of forget the group effort of collapsing that pocket. And but I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, we still have our set games that we run and that, that we like to call in certain situations, but I think our biggest strength is rushing off each other and, finding our opportunities and knowing when, one of us is a push cover, one of us has our opportunity to go win, and, we just feed off that. And yeah, we just continue trying to grow on that. But I don't think we've changed too much from, schematically how we've done things in the past, but we think at the end of the day, just hunting, when we're all, got our eyes right, got our technique right, I think, we're a pretty good group up front.
And how has Chris Shula been able to, help you guys understand those opportunities and how to best play off each other in certain situations?
Yeah, I think that's been the really cool part of, coming in last year, being a rookie and, as well as Coach Shula being, his first year coordinator, just seeing the growth of, how he's been able to, build and, put us in the best position based on our strengths as a defense and as certain players and certain situations, which I think has been awesome. And, it's continued to grow from last year. I mean, we hate to talk about week 2 of last year against the Cardinals. That was like the kind of like the molding point of like, all right, who are we going to be as a defense? Where are we going to make these changes? And I think as the season went on last year, and then as we built from early on in this season of just how we're going to establish, stopping the run and then getting ourselves in a good, second and longs and third and longs and, getting our rushers on the field. I think Coach Hill has been unbelievable with the preparation and just putting us in the right spots for sure.
Thank you.
You know it.
Hey, Braden, was there anything to the cleats you were wearing the other day? I mean, it looked like standard Jordan 1 cleats, but I saw, merch joking
Yeah.
about it, and obviously I think you reposted, the design or something. I wasn't sure if there was anything to that or not, but I just wanted to know about that.
Nothing crazy. I typically I'm always wear white cleats. That's something I've always done for a long time. I love wearing white cleats. I wear white shoes. If you ask anybody in this building, they know I wear my Air Maxes every day. But no, I just I want to change it up. A guy I went to college with, Blake Bosma at Western Michigan. He designs cleats and does he paints cleats, and he had hit me up about doing my uh I forget the cleats for my cause, my cleats. God, I couldn't get it out. Jeez. And he showed me some other designs, just different things. And I think you can expect a few more throughout the season of me changing up my cleat game. It'll stay with the Jordan ones, but it'll be a different cleat game going forward. Be cool.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Since you got the sack and the Jordan 1s yesterday, are you going to
Most
keep that
definitely.
going this week?
You will 100% see me in some cleats that are not white this week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You know it.
And then we'll wrap with Adam.
Okay, I remembered. You were dealing with the oblique earlier this year. Obviously, didn't keep you off the field too much, but like, how much was that something you were kind of managing, and where are you with that now at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's all good now. It was definitely pretty annoying to deal with early on in the season. I know those first few weeks it was just frustrating of, it's tough to know what you're capable of, but being hindered by something that just you don't feel like you can be your complete self on the field with. But no, we're all healed now. I'm feeling so much better, and yeah, I put that in the past. But yeah, that definitely sucked. I don't want to deal with that again. That sucked.
Cool. Thanks, Braden. Glad you're feeling better, and thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we can talk more soon.
Alrighty, thank you, Fisk.
Yep, appreciate it.